Hi, Ms. Sigler. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
So it's making a firearm accessible to a child. Did someone pass away as a result?
So this one was the defendant, the father of the children. There were three children playing. And then the gun or the weapon was found on the bed, and one of the children was trying to get rid of the gun and then ended up shooting and killing his 10-year-old brother, shooting in the side of his head. And I spoke with Caroline on this, but I was more comfortable deferring to you without an agreed rec on what you thought was appropriate here.
I don't know.
Looked at the
You know-
mitigation packet, but
What'd you think?
for some reason, the case is 2 years old and it was only a 7-page packet. I felt that his statement wasn't really, taking as much responsibility overtly for this. And then it was images of their family. I understand all of that, but with 2 years going on, I don't know why this wasn't resolved with the other chiefs or what's going on, but I just wanted to see a little more with it.
Mr. Gutierrez, come up. Come up.
And Your Honor, do you have a translated record?
Oh, he doesn't speak English.
No.
Got it.
Morning, Judge.
Hi, Luis, how are you? So are you okay with going without an agreed rec, Ms. Siegler? Are
Sorry.
you okay with going without an agreed rec? Where was the weapon initially? Do you know?
The bed.
Fue encontrada en la cama.
Just the gun is laying, a gun is, just- I mean, do we know where it was initially before it was used? I guess that's my question.
There were several guns in the house. If you, one moment, let me pull up the OR, but this one that was involved in the accident was found on the bed. One second.
Un momento.
The mother, the complainant, or sorry, next of kin advised that she was told that one of her children was trying to make the bed and in the process moved the firearm and it was discharged. And the child did not know that the gun was loaded.
That's the worst nightmare.
I know.
Just- It's awful. I don't know. I don't. I think that there has to be some punishment, right?
Your Honor, we're happy to speak to him and have him redo his mitigation packet.
But the thing is that he's had the chance to do it. You know what you're supposed to do. And if you can't own up to it at that time, then, I mean, that's truly what you mean at that time. Right? So I'd like to see it, if you don't mind, his letter to see
Of course.
how he feels. Is he truly remorseful? Because, on one end, I would think that the fact that your own child is dead because of you, is that punishment enough? Right?
That's where I was at too, Your Honor, which I was conflicting on.
If you can't even take responsibility for it, I mean,
And
You
the
know,
next of kin, the mother, the prior chief did speak with her in person. We followed up with her over the phone. And she has expressed they've all been to therapy, obviously, and she said to leave it up to us.
are they still together? Is the family still together?
Yes.
So let's do this. Let's get the plea done. I'd like to get it done today. It's 200 days old. Do it. There's going to be some. Okay,
Algo. Okay.
not as much, but there's going to be some. And then, but then I'd like to see his letter first, though, if you don't mind. Okay, and then
It's in Spanish, so.
it's okay. I can read
Está
Spanish.
bien.
And then, do you want to go ahead and write it up and do it today,
Quieren-
or do you want? Tell me how you want to do this.
I would, whatever the
lo
recommendation
que sea-
is,
lo
I
que
would
sea la
like
recomendación que
some
hiciera,
time to talk to
algún
him
tiempo
about
para
it.
poder hablar.
Okay.
And if he would like to take it
Si
today, then we
él
can take
quisiera
it today,
hacerlo
but
y
if not,
podemos
then I
hacerlo,
would
pero
ask
si
for
no,
something.
pediría por
No, if he doesn't take it, we're going to set it. It's 200 days old. It's time. So I guess let me take a look at the letter. Let me read it, and then I'll get back to you. And then give me 15 minutes. Let me just talk to them, and then. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
sure.
So I'll print it right now.
Thanks. Hi, Will.
Morning, Judge. Okay, I have Mr. Paez on your docket, P-A-E-Z. How old are the kids?
10.
40?
10 was the deceased, right? Okay, so it was a 10-year-old that shot the 8-year-old?
Yes.
I mean, is it punishment enough that you know in your conscience that because of you, you have to assume kids are so crafty. Kids can find anything, man. We had a firearm case once like this where it was in a bookshelf and the bookshelf was 15 feet high. But the kid, boom. Okay, anyways,
Okay, well, this is not much better. Paez,
is he in custody?
he's in custody. Let me talk first before we. P-A-E-Z. I think it's hyphenated, Paez Gonzalez. First name.
Yeah, I see it.
He was out on bond in this court for an indecency. He's got a crazy history of indecency. Picks up some more charges, another misdemeanor indecency, which is no PC, felony indecency, because there's a child involved, and a trespass. I talked to my client. He's got severe mental disability issues. I filled out and trying to get him a TRS scheduled. I think he's got a $75,000 bond on the felonies, homeless, no ways getting out. So I think the felony is going to probably be the controlling case here.
What would you like? What do you want?
Victoria told me to approach on it. I just want to reset the number of felony. It's because he was on bond and picked up new cases in this court. That's what it is. But the new case,
Oh, right.
the only new case in this court is a.
My
trespass.
question is this. That's a decency cases, right? Just exposure convictions.
Yes, I think so, Judge, because I was looking at that this morning, actually. I think he might only have one conviction and then the other was dismissed.
Okay. So now,
There's a pending felony case for the child was involved.
right,
So
but,
that's gonna.
okay, either way, whether he pleads, there's registration required, chapter 62 registration,
I'd like to just run this with the felony. I mean, the felony's not set until February.
Revoke, well, I mean, we got him on a $500 bond he's unable to make. So even if we revoke the other one, right, it's neither here nor there.
Nothing I don't think needs to be done.
So you're set in the felony on the,
On the felony, I think it's February. I don't think.
we'll carry it, I guess. I don't want to set it out 2 months because it's too long. Let's do 30, come back. If nothing's happened, we'll do another 30 until we get there and then we'll,
Yes, sir.
thanks, Will. Hi. Mr. Benito, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
On 4/29/2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers observed a vehicle run a red light and they attempted a traffic stop. The vehicle evaded for 0.59 miles, speeding 63 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone before crashing into a tree. The driver detained the defendant, got detained and was sent to Woodland Memorial Hermann Hospital for his injuries. Officers recovered a bag from the vehicle containing a firearm. So he ran a red light, they attempted a traffic stop, he evaded 4.59 miles, and then they found a firearm on him.
Where was it?
Tumble.
Don't say anything.
He was traveling southbound in the 29800 block.
No. I mean, like, where was the gun? I guess, yeah. No, it's a company of the felony. Mr. Benito, I'm gonna find that the probable cause is I'm gonna find probable cause to go forward with the case. How old are you, sir?
He was inside the center console.
You're 17. What do you do for a living, sir?
We're not worried.
Are you in high school?
Online school. Online school.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm enrolled in online school.
Okay, I'm sending you for a drug test. And I don't want you to smoke weed. I don't want you to use alcohol. I don't want you to have any weapons. Do you understand? Do you have a Texas driver license? You're not allowed to drive. You will be signing a promise with me today, Mr. Benito. I want you to understand that I take it extremely serious. You are only 17 and you're starting your life out now. You have an open third-degree felony. You're looking at up to 10 years in prison. This is not a good way to start life, man. Really. You have your whole life ahead of you, and I'm going to tell you, you end up in prison, it's a veritable nightmare. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you go on the up and up. I want you to stay in school. That's also a condition of your bond. Do you understand? I don't want you out in the middle of the night. I'm giving you a curfew as well. I'll give you a lawyer today, but we're going to work hard and fast to make sure that you go on the up and up. You understand? No more weapons and no driving. Who are you here with today? How'd you get here? Okay, don't drive. I'm not asking much.
Judge, it was in the center console. I just need to review the report.
Okay. This is an affidavit. This is a promise that you're going to make to me. And if I find that you drive, and I'm telling you, I don't care what your reason is, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. The problem with driving without insurance, Mr. Benito, is that if you get into an accident, and let's say you kill someone in that accident, who do you think they're going to come after? Right. No, not after you. They're going to come after the deep pockets, which are probably mom and pop. You don't want that to happen. You understand? Come on. So let's send him for a drug test. We'll have him come back, appoint a lawyer now, and then we'll, get with the lawyer to see how we go forward with. See, Mr. Jones, you've now picked up a third case. You now stand charged with failure to identify oneself. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On December 5th, 2024, officer initiated a traffic stop on defendant's vehicle for failure to display a front license plate while he was driving in the 5900 block of Mercer Street in Harris County, Texas. Officer made contact with the occupants and detected an odor of marijuana emitting from the driver's side window. All three occupants were detained for a PC search. The defendant provided the name of Kendrick Johnson with a date of birth of 8/30/2006, which returned with nothing. Officer used a mobile AFIS device and found defendant's real name to be Jamarcus Jones with the date of birth of 8/30/06.
I ordered you as a condition of your bond, and you promised me when you got here last time that you would not drive. Stop. Did you say that he was a driver here? Stop. Don't say anything. I don't want you. Don't. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. I was under the impression, Rosette, that he's driving here. Is he not?
There were three occupants in the car, Judge. I'm trying to see if they clarified. He was a passenger. He was the front passenger, Judge.
Okay, so tell me, do a deeper dive.
Sorry,
Let's do a deeper dive. So they pull him over. He's the passenger.
There was an odor of marijuana detected.
So what happened next?
So they detained all three occupants for
Okay.
a probable cause search.
All
The
right.
driver was identified by his driver's license, and the front seat passenger, which is the defendant, provided the name of Patrick Johnson. And a mobile AFIS revealed that that wasn't his true name. And so he was charged with failure to ID.
Do we have any co-defendants in this case?
Yes, John Burns.
Okay. So what's the cause number on that?
On that one?
Yeah.
It's 25
Huh?
41701. That's an important 15.
Okay, is there a third co-defendant as well? Okay. Mr. Jones, I'm glad that you're not driving. Regardless, you've picked up a new case. I don't know what we're going to do, but normally when you pick up a new case while you're on bond, we revoke the bond on the old case. So, I mean, it goes with you. I'm going to appoint your lawyer today. We'll figure out how we go forward. But for now, I'm going to take you in. I'm going to appoint your lawyer. We'll see how we go forward. But you're supposed to behave yourself while you're on bond. You've now picked up a third case. You first have a felony theft. You got a second case, and now you've picked up a third case. It goes with you. Can you please, one number one? Okay, so, all right, good morning, Mr. Villegas. So the reason that we're taking you in now is because you have a no bond warrant on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I see that you're on bond for an aggravated assault from January. I guess there was a simultaneous also, I'm sorry. You had an aggravated assault of a family member. You have a second aggravated assault. This one was a deadly weapon. And now with us, you picked up an unlawful restraint and an assault of a family member. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. All we're going to do is probable cause on these two. I'm going to keep you. It looks like you have a lawyer. Well, I don't want to do anything until we get your lawyer. Okay, so give me a second. Let me see. All right, so Mr. Villegas, we have your lawyer here. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Like I've already told you, you're charged with assault. You're also charged with unlawful restraint. Both of those you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. Okay.
The complainant and the defendant are in a dating relationship. On December 5th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a family violence call. Officer met with the complainant, who stated the defendant followed her down from their apartment to her vehicle and had stiff-armed her face. Complainant then left and went to a friend's apartment and the defendant
Did you say he stiff-armed her face?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Complainant then left and went to a friend's apartment and the defendant followed. The defendant told the complainant to get into his car because he wouldn't talk to her. The complainant got into the passenger side seat and the defendant reversed aggressively and began driving south on North Main. The complainant stated she tried to exit the vehicle when the defendant stopped at an intersection, but the defendant grabbed her arm and prevented her from leaving. The defendant then began driving west on Rolling Brook Drive. The defendant stopped at another intersection and the complainant was able to exit the vehicle. She began running away from the vehicle and the defendant ran up behind her, grabbed her by the hair and slammed her face into the brick wall of the subway. The defendant then dragged the complainant by her hair to the truck, dragging her to the ground. The defendant tried to put the complainant in the truck, but the complainant was able to run away. Witness by an unknown vehicle tried to help, and the defendant was ID'd by his Texas driver's license.
Mr. Villegas, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on both of your cases. A protective order has been issued in this case on the 7th of this month. I would suggest you get to know it. If you violate the protective order, the state can and probably will file a violation of protective order against you. And I'm telling you, it's the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst ones that you can pick up. The only thing that we're asking you to do is don't have contact with this person and don't be in possession of any weapons. That's all. As long as you can do that, everything here will be fine. Do you understand? This is going to survive for the length of the case. Don't have any contact. Don't use anyone else to try to have any contact with her. Social media, friends, family, anything like this. Do you understand? So, Jed, it looks like the felony case is set for February.
Mhm.
Do you want to, we usually do 30-day settings just so people don't get forgotten about.
Sure.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
And then just keep us in the loop, whatever happens, and we'll just keep it, in conjunction with however it goes.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have any questions?
We'll talk.
If at some point you bond out, you have to come back here for bond conditions. Okay? I don't know if you're going to bond out, but if you do at some point, you will need bond conditions because I want to ensure that you're not going to have any contact with this person. Okay? For now, we'll just put you back. Yeah, I mean, there's no need for you to say anything at this point. Just, I want you to understand that right. He'll take care of you, Mr. Vegas. We need him just to sign bond conditions saying that he's not going to have any contact, not be in possession of any weapons, and then that's it.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
All right.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Fine.
I'll be right back.
You were Mr. Trevor Maines? Shh. Mr. Trevor Maines, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Oh, guys, crap. I'm sorry. Sorry, John D. And thanks, Mark. This is Mr. Trevor Maines. It's the last name, Trevor Maines. I guess under Trevor.
Sorry about that, Judge.
It's okay.
So officer, are you ready for me?
Yeah, okay. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
Officers were dispatched to a bar in Harris County, Texas, in response to a suspicious person. The complaining witness, a security guard, told the officer that the defendant had left the bar and gotten into his car, but then returned a short time later carrying a gun. While there were other parties arguing in the outdoor area of the bar. The defendant took the gun and threw it under the fence. The complaining witness retrieved the gun, took the bullets out, and returned the gun to the defendant and told him to leave. Complaining witness then observed defendant go to the back of the bar and hop the fence to get back inside.
So they had told him to exit the bar, you said?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Trevor, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. How old are you, sir?
So,
What do you do with yourself these days? What do you do with yourself these days?
so I'm unemployed. I don't have a job.
How come?
Just moved here. Moved out here.
From where? Okay. What are you planning on doing with yourself?
Job.
Okay. How long has it been since you've had a job?
Like 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years since you've had a job? How do you support, how do you live? How do you eat? How do you get money? Okay.
Trouble. You see my record. I don't be in trouble.
So you have any prior criminal history?
Just carrying a handgun in a motor vehicle that was dismissed.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go back to this place. Do you understand? Not to be in possession of any weapons. Do you understand? So how are you going to get a lawyer, sir?
Get people.
So you're just going to do nothing and
You sign me a
so I don't want to talk to you, the case. I don't want to talk about the case, but let me ask you this. You haven't had a job for 2 to 3 years. Why should the people of Harris County have to foot a bill for you when you get to do nothing for 3 years? How is that fair that we all have to pay for your lawyer when you don't do anything? You get to play Xbox all day, just hang out at home and do nothing, and we have to foot the bill for that? How's that fair?
I don't have it. What you want me to do?
So here's what we're gonna do. I'll have you fill out an application. I'm now making a condition of your bond. You got to get a job. And I'm gonna bring you back in 2 weeks. I want to see what you've done to get a job. You're 27 years old, dude. This life is really, really tough without money. And the older you get, life doesn't get easier. It gets harder. You get bigger, you get fatter, you get uglier, you lose hair, right? And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a trade, if you don't have a way to make money, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think people are going to keep giving you handouts the rest of your life? That's how we have all these people who walk the street looking all Quasimodo-like, have no way of getting money, no traits, no skill. That's not the way to go through life, man. Now is when you work your ass so that when you become 60, when you become 70, you have a cushion, you have somewhere to land. So you have a house, you have a nest egg savings. Because if not, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have a really rotten and miserable life. This life is a journey, and it's really a good journey where you buy nice things, have nice clothes, take nice vacations, pretty wife, kids, or it can be a rotten toilet of an existence where you're in and out of jail. You ain't got no money. You're begging every single person for this and for that. And that's not the way to go through life. Did you even graduate from high school? I want you to get a job. I will give you a lawyer today, but you're not to use alcohol. You're not to use illegal drugs. And I'm going to test you like crazy. I want you to know that now. And I'm going to hold you to a standard as well. Do you understand? And if you don't, life's not going to go well between you and I. I'm just telling you that now. You will be held to a standard. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks. And I want to see what you have done to get a job. If you come back here and you ain't got nothing in your hand, it's not going to go well. Do you understand? You might give an application. Good morning, Mr. Venable.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Venable, you're charged with 2 counts of assault. One is of a family member. On both of those, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay, Ms.
On January 21st of 2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to an AFM call. Officer met with the complainant. The complainant and the defendant have been dating for 5 months. The complainant and the defendant were arguing. The defendant pushed the complainant to the ground, causing her to scrape her right arm. While the complainant was still on the floor, the defendant stepped on her neck. Officer noted.
Stepped on her neck.
Yes, Judge. Officer noted redness on the complainant's arm and neck.
Do you know if it impeded breathing?
No, Judge. I can't, let me. It wasn't charged as an impeding breath, so.
Well, I know it wasn't charged, but is it?
The DIMS don't say that she had any trouble breathing, but I'll look at the offense report, Judge.
And here's the other thing. The first assault is from October of 23. The second assault is from January of this year.
Yes,
And now we have a felony evading arrest on December 10th.
yes, Judge.
Were these 2Bs? Was he out on bond for these? Vic, do you know?
It looks like. No,
So this is Venable, who's now picked up a third case. He had 2 misdemeanors, one's from 23, one's from 24. Did we ever do PC or had he ever been on bond
No, Judge, it was just a non-arising.
for the whole time? All right.
Judge, it doesn't say that she had trouble breathing, it just says that it caused her pain.
Okay. Can you do probable cause? So that's the family member, right?
That's the AFM,
Okay.
Judge.
Can you do the first case? Because I don't think we've done probable cause on that one though.
This is the AFM from January 21st. Oh, the ABI, the one before.
Yeah, the one before.
On 9/29/2023, officers were dispatched. On arrival, officers spoke with a witness, complainant's wife, who said that the defendant assaulted the complainant by slapping him in the face because the complainant's dog killed the defendant's girlfriend's cat. Then officers spoke with the complainant, who said he had invited the defendant into his residence to discuss the situation when the defendant said she should knock the shit out of him. And the next thing complainant knew, the defendant had struck him across the left side of his face with his hand, causing pain.
Mr. Venable, I want you to understand one thing, that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my community at all costs.
Sure.
And if that means I have to make your bond extremely high, taking you into custody, kicking and screaming, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand?
Sure.
I'm warning you as a condition. I'm going to find probable cause on both of your cases, and I'm warning you not to have any contact with either of the people in this case.
Sure.
There's a protective order that has been issued in the family case. I would get to know it. Don't say anything. You will get the opportunity. Now is not that time. I'm telling you what the expectation is while these cases are open, and what the expectation is for you to be able to live in this free world. Because if you don't abide by these expectations, I'm going to take the free world away from you. You are not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. You're also not to have contact with either of these people, not to be in possession of any weapons, and abide by the conditions of the protective order. If you violate those conditions of the protective order, the state can file a fourth case, a violation of a protective order. If they do, that is the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up, and you violate those conditions, I can have a hearing to hold you at zero bond. Zero bond, and I'll do it in a heartbeat to protect every person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
I do, but it's
So you do not have a Texas driver license. I am now ordering you also as a condition of your bond not to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising you that you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care where you got to go. You violate this, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car.
an Ubering to and from, so.
Don't. There's nothing you can say to justify. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what the expectation is.
Yes, Your Honor.
We are now going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So for now, I'm going to have you come up here, sign this order, promising us you're not going to drive. I will get you to Victoria where we will have you sign a reset for you to go get a lawyer. You will meet with Felicia for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go.
Sir.
The one in there that has contact.
Got it. Okay. So Rosette, the order in the one that's signed by the magistrate is allowing contact, but I'm going to issue one now so that he can have contact. Okay? Just so that you know.
Also, I don't see a motive on the assault bodily injury case.
Well, it's because it's not a family member case. That's why. You can only do it on the family member cases. All right? That way. Where you haven't done
In the
absolutely.
GED program.
I have to wait for the school to mail in the transcript so I can get the ID. They said I need my old school record so we have proof of who I am. But I have my GED login on my phone. I can show you.
To go get an ID, all you have to do is go to DPS and get an ID, right?
If they're under the age, they actually have to have a student verification form from a school.
That's what he's waiting for.
I was there
He's got
yesterday.
he's got.
What school is this?
Calhoun High School in Port Lavaca. Calhoun High School in Port Lavaca. I called them yesterday. And they're gonna mail it.
The day before court, you call.
That was when I had my appointment for the DPS.
Okay, so how long are we gonna wait for you to get the ID to be able to start on your GED?
Well, they said they mailed it already, so probably it's like a couple of days, like 3 days.
So let's set it a week. Okay, all right, I'll see you in a week, sir. All right.
Okay. Go ahead.
Jeff, was that clear?
Yeah.
Yes, that was clear.
Okay, John D,
Did you
who's
get the
next?
results?
I'm not happy with you, Mr. Johnson. You're on bond in this case, and now you've picked up a felony case. The only thing I asked you to do, behave yourself, don't pick up any new cases. And now, Morgan, what has Mr. Johnson picked up?
Unauthorized possession of a catalytic converter.
Wow, what happened? Please.
So officers were dispatched to an apartment complex. The security guard in the apartment complex observed the defendant. Observed in plain view in the defendant's vehicle 3 catalytic converters that were freshly and jaggedly cut, and defendants were not mechanics. There's 2 defendants in this case. Defendant 1 was under a vehicle cutting the converter. When he saw security, he attempted to escape by jumping into a vehicle where defendant 2 was in the driver's seat. Security stopped them from leaving.
So where was Mr. Johnson?
I'm just trying to figure out if he was the number 1 or number 2 defendant, Judge.
Right, where was he? Was he in the car? How do we know if it's him? I don't want to try the case, right? But I don't want to.
Sorry, Judge, in the DIMS, they just identified the defendant 1 and 2. Let me just pull up the offense report really quickly. Okay, so Mr. Johnson was under the car. He was the defendant that was under the car, and then there was another defendant in a waiting vehicle.
So was he in the act of taking another one?
Yes, he was in the act of trying to steal a catalytic converter when the security guard caught him.
I am now going to revoke your bond on your first case. I asked you not to get in trouble. You've not picked up a felony case. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Your Honor, I would ask that the court set a bond and obviously.
I mean,
I understand. Yeah.
That's, each one of those is like $5,000-$6,000 and someone has to. Life's hard enough as it is, man. You know, really. It goes with you. All right. Good morning, Mr. Daly. What would you like?
So Judge, 2 things. I've talked to Madam Prosecutor on this case, Judge, and I'm approaching on 2 things. 1, bond reinstatement and PC on this case, Judge. She and I have already discussed it on this case, and we just both want you to hear the PC if we can, Judge.
Okay.
And then on the bond reinstatement as well, Judge.
So officers initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas for a vehicle having a fictitious plate bearing the word traveler on it. During the stop, the defendant refused to provide.
Traveler? Okay.
During the stop, the defendant refused to provide ID or insurance information, stating, "I do not consent to this." Officer attempted to remove the defendant from the vehicle, and defendant actively resisted by pulling his arm away from deputies until he was detained.
Okay. Tell me what.
So we looked at, Madam Prosecutor, the interference with duties of public servant, Your Honor. Even if my client is failing to give them that, then it is an arrestable offense. But in this situation, it is, Judge. However, in this particular situation, he didn't interfere with anything in terms of his own arrest. I can, if it was a resisting or something to that effect, I can.
They're just trying to get him out of the car.
I don't
And
disagree.
It's classic sovereign case where got the license plate, think that traveling by right is what I think how they term it.
In this situation, Judge, and the reason I'm employing upon the court is, even from what Madam Prosecutor has seen on the video, they're pulling and tugging at his arm, which put my client in some fear. It was more than one officer. It was pretty.
But he still has a duty. If they're asking you to come out, they can lawfully do that. And there are videos, and go on YouTube, right? There are hundreds of videos where officers will literally destroy your car to get you out. When you get into a pissing match with a person who has the power of arrest, who's going to win, Mr. Daly?
We don't disagree, Your Honor.
Right. You know what I mean? That's real life.
We don't disagree, Your Honor. I think under the circumstances of what actually happened, it was not Mr. Daly's position to resist or to interfere. That was not. He was concerned for his safety at that point. And actually, I don't know, did you hear that on the video? Right. And so in reviewing the video, it was pretty quick, pretty brash. They didn't give him an opportunity to respond per the prosecutor in this situation. It wasn't as if he was intentionally
Remember,
not.
this is, for now, this is just a mere probable cause.
Yes, Your
So,
Honor, I agree.
you know, they ask you to come out of the car one time. Yeah, you know, it's really, that's, so, I mean, I think that there's enough probable cause to go forward now. The problem is, Mr. Daly, is that we revoke your bond is set at 2501, and you've continually failed to appear. So, you know, the case and the way that you've treated us, it shows me that you just refuse to accept authority. How are we supposed to deal with that? How do we deal with that, Timberland?
Your Honor, the only reason I bring to your attention is I asked the court to take into consideration, we have a Black male works every day who, and I hate to put that on the court, but I do in this particular climate, that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one. Number two, when they do come in contact with police, and my mother is assistant chief of police, so I can understand, even when I was younger, I was taught that there are certain things that you have to do with when a police officer even stop you on a speeding ticket. What we don't know is whenever these officers come up, when you're somebody who don't have the privilege of having a police officer as a parent, or who isn't familiar and is being raised in this particular climate and seeing what they see on TV and seeing what they hear and everything that has occurred, you don't know what the proper steps are. I was trained from when I was grown up, what you do. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm not saying that how he reacted to this particular court, it is wrong. However, I'm employing upon the court to ask the court to take into a little bit of consideration, number one, from his perspective, all defendants, can't just say this, but I do see that, from what I've known from this particular case and now in talking to him, I do believe that there is a sense of sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't. So I'm asking to reinstate his PR bond. I am now on the case. What you know about me, I'm a tight attorney. I run a tight ship. So, and by which of way I believe I can reach him and getting him to court and resolving this matter, which is what I talked to the prosecutor about when you were on break. It's like, let's just resolve this. Let's take care of this.
I'll buy it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to do this again, though. I promise you. I don't care whoever you have. If you flake on us again, that's 3 times. It's out. I'm not going to do it again. Do you understand, Mr. Daly? I mean, when you come to court, good things happen. When you don't show up and you continually do it, you can't expect good things to happen. Now, do you have a Texas driver's license?
That right now.
You're not allowed to drive.
Right.
You have a bond condition and you've signed an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care how you term it. Driving, traveling, however you're going to word it, whatever you do not get into the driver's seat of an automobile, a motorcycle, anything with a combustible engine where you can get on the road unless you have approval from us. Do you understand? I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if you have to go to church. I don't care if you're going to a funeral. I don't care if you're going to wherever it may be. Do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You're not going to get another one. Okay, Timberland,
Thank
I'll
you.
reinstate the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And
And I'll talk to her. We were going to try to talk to Chief, but it's pretty busy
I
today.
think the case is only 3 months old,
Yes,
so you've got time. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court now, but you must stay in touch with her and she'll tell you when you got to come back to court. If she comes back and tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone AWOL or whatnot, or you get arrested for something else, all bets off. We good? I'm not asking for much, man. Really. And for future reference, when you get into a pissing match with someone with the power of arrest, you are nearly always going to lose. It's just the way it works. And as a young black man in today's society, you got to be extra special careful because things can go really wrong really quick. And there's evidence of that over and over and over. Okay? All right. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
What is your name? We need to do a name change on all of his cases so that it's the right way. Is it Alejandro Kevin?
Alejandro.
Okay.
So where's the Kevin coming from?
That was a mistake I did. I gave the fake name.
Don't, please, just, you can really. So, Mr. Martinez, you have a whole host of open cases now. You have a felony theft of a firearm, a DWI, failure to ID, theft, and evading arrest. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. On one ankle, you're going to get a scram, so I know that you're not consuming. On your other ankle, you're going to get a GPS monitor, and I'm giving you a curfew. Do you understand? 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I'm going to tell you now, you pick up another case, I'm going to go freaking nuts on all of these bonds. I have no idea why your bonds are as low as they are, and they shouldn't be. So one false move. Get ready. Where's
Judge,
the-
may I ask, has he been a felony court and what are the conditions of bond on the felon?
Let me take a look. I can pull it up. Right. Felony court set for January 30th.
Okay.
Let me see. It has no contact with the complaining witness. No weapons. Well, that's the magistrate condition. Let me see.
I'm just trying to figure out what's mirroring felony and.
I don't think they've ever did any other conditions. You know
Would you
what?
consider-
Here's
well, since
the
felony
deal. No.
didn't-
The thing, he's not gone to felony court yet. He made a surety bond 2 days ago, and they gave him a 30-day reset to get to felony court, which is, I don't know why it's that long. You know, it usually is a week or so. So I don't know why the surety put the bond for 2 months down the road.
Can we go over the conditions again, just so I have those?
All right, so conditions are, do you have a Texas driver license, sir?
No, sir.
You're not allowed to drive. All right, so this is an affidavit that you're promising me that you're not going to drive, Mr. Martinez. If I find that you drive, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do not drive. Do not use alcohol. Do not use illegal drugs. No weapons. You're going to have a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Where's the theft from, please? Yeah.
Let me see. Walmart.
No going to any Walmart as well. And then the scram on the other ankle, GPS on one, scram on the other, and I'll pay for everything, Greg. You must stay in touch with your lawyer. That's him on the TV now. If Greg tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, out goes the bond. Do you understand? All right, I'm gonna have you swear to us you're not gonna drive. I'll get you to Victoria Center. Hold on. I'll get you to Victoria Center reset. You'll get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and then you're done. All right.